What's going on today, guys? For today's video, we're going to be getting into New World on this new Paladin build I've been working on to kind of help me when I'm playing solo. Normally, I'm running Void Gauntlet with the Life Staff to make sure I provide enough healing for the group. When I'm playing solo, I noticed that my Void Gauntlets weren't quite giving me enough DPS, and I was had to focus on healing myself too much, or couldn't actually kill major mobs and be overtaken. So I had to figure a new way out when I'm soloed to kind of figure out how to put out a little bit more DPS with groups of mobs. So today I've been kind of training and kind of going through a lot of these other different weapons to kind of see what would be the best fit for this type of build. Definitely something I had trouble with in the beginning, running through good weapons that you pair with the life staff, such as the Void Gauntlet or the Rapier, because they scale well together depending on what you're kind of doing. But just didn't fit my playstyle too much, and I kind of noticed a couple different things, and I was pretty much dying a lot too. Wasn't putting out enough DPS. Where this build gives me enough time to put out enough heals so I can heal myself, along with still beating or taking on major mobs, so I can kind of use crowd control. So we'll kind of hop into this build. I'll show you what I got going on, and we'll kind of go from there. I'm just going to kind of show you my healing staff. This really doesn't change much. I've been playing with a couple different things. We're trying to maybe run Beacon or maybe run Splash of Light. I've been really experimenting a little bit different. I feel like this is a very even balance to kind of help support a large group, along with being able to heal myself solo too if I get in any trouble. So it's a pretty simple build, and there's a lot of builds out there on YouTube already, so you can kind of look anyone up, but I'll just kind of give you a nice rundown of what I have chosen and what I plan to use. So my staff's only level 19 currently. I'm still only level 56, playing the game for about 110 hours. So really been focusing on just becoming a healer for the group. So first off, Absolve Life Staff. Light and heavy attacks no longer consume mana. It's a great perk, especially if you are running in a group and you're using the Void Gauntlet for healing. When you're using the Life Staff, that does a lot of damage or can help provide some things. Doesn't use mana. Major thing, because when you run into massive healing, it'll heal fast. Sometimes mana goes down too much. Next, heavy attacks now remove debuffs when passing through allies. This is something that's great to use when you have mobs or special enemies that are stunning, causing confusion. Those types of things will help remove the debuff shooting through, and it's very easy to hit. Number 2, light attacks now heal for 16% of weapon damage passing through allies. These three are nice combos here to kind of give you a nice little healing in between, along with removing debuffs. Then we use Sacred Ground, of course, for the tanks to kind of make sure that they have enough area, enough heals on the ground to kind of make sure that they are manageable while they're doing their attacks and pulling aggro. With that, of course, we're going to max out the whole thing with Holy Ground and Blessed. Both are going to help us scale our healing massively. Then we're going to pick up over here Desperate Speed. When you heal an ally below 50% with Life Staff, abilities cooldown are reduced by 10%. This is phenomenal to use when you're in a tight pinch. Definitely helps me out a lot. Then we have over here, when you hit a light attack, reduces Life Staff's ability cooldowns by 5%. Another key thing when healing large groups, when you're doing dungeons or your massive mob hoarding around the map, to really help cool. This paired with the 16% weapon damage, you can get healing while burning down your cooldowns for Orb of Protection, more Sacred Ground, or be able to Light's Embrace to really target heal certain people. So this gives us extra cooldown so that we're able to do that. Along with that, down here we have Enchant Adjustment when in battle, activating a healing aura for you and nearby enemies of 4 radius. The aura heals 8% of weapon damage each second for 6 seconds. Takes 120 second cooldown, not a big deal, but with a couple other things clicked on there to help reduce the cooldown, you'll see this activate more often. Intensify, when you hit a heavy attack, gain stacking 10% bonus heal, effective for 10 seconds. So it's really easy to pair this with something like where you have the Protector with Bend Light, where you dodge, and then you can throw a heavy attack and then throw a heal down and get a massive boost in percentage of heals when you throw down if you're ever in a pinch or anything like that. Holding Then we have Sacred Protection. While holding a life staff, increase the amount of incoming healing to all friendlies in your group. It's just pretty simple. And then down here you have when you heal, Divine Blessing. When you heal allies below 50%, they heal 30% more. So if anybody's getting in too much trouble, a lot of this combining will just stack percentages on top of each other to give you massive, 2,000, 3,000 plus heal on people. I was playing with a buddy last night of mine. We were just playing duos. I was helping him clear some quests out. There's one point where he was almost dead, and I healed him for like 3,100. He goes, "Man, your heals are amazing. It's nice to have a pocket healer with me, just because not using potions and whatnot." So this build is very good for that. Then I'm using over here is Orb of Protection. Shoots out a light projectile that grants 10% fortify for 20 seconds. Heals an ally for 10% of weapon damage and deals 146 weapon damage on hit. So this is really nice. Kind of gives a little bit, I call it what I call splash damage. You shoot it at the enemy. Anybody around them kind of gets this little buff. Pair that with, Bend Light. After dodge, you heal 20% more for effective 5 minutes. Gives you a nice little boost if you ever need it. I've become in the habit of always dodging before I throw heals, so that way I'm always having this 20% more anytime I'm doing it. And then we also have the Protector's Touch. Life Staff, light and heavy attacks now grant 15% fortified for 3 seconds of hitting enemies. Not necessarily the best thing, but right now, as I'm kind of experimenting with this build, it's what I'm currently putting on. And then we have Light's Embrace. This is very good for target healing, tanks, or if you have, a ranged attacker somewhere else. It's great for target healing. Love it. Honestly, I've kind of switched off between this and Splash of Light, where all group members within 100 meters are healed for 60% of weapon damage. It's great and all, but if I really think about this and what I use it for, Light's Embrace is it. If we're in a dungeon and I have the tanks pulling aggro and they got everything, and I have my archer on the side, and armor's usually not the best, but definitely takes hits. He needs to be healed. He's not in my sacred ground. Not getting hit by Orb of Protection, I can focus and hit Light's Embrace on him and click him and get him healed quickly for the weapon damage and whatnot. It really needs. It's really good for those kind of situations, or if you're just trying to heal yourself real quick and you don't want to use a potion, being able to do that. Just the target healing is very, very nice. Now, you could use Beacon, which is a little bit different, where you shoot out a projectile and it kind of creates an aura around the enemy, and it heals for 16% of weapon damage for 10 seconds. We've used this before. It does very well too, but this would end up taking away from, maybe you could switch out for the Orb of Protection or maybe Light's Embrace. But I used it. It's great if you have a lot of tanks or a lot of DPS on target. Then you can keep their life pegged at full with these 3 things. But I like to use Lights and Embrace just in case I have anybody on the outside that's trying to heal. And also, as being the healer, I take a lot of aggro on the outside, so I have to make sure that I'm able to heal myself along with the group there, which this will allow me to do, because I can throw a quick heal on myself by just using the control button for a quick cast. And my last 2 points that I'm probably going to put on here, honestly, when I think about this, I start to look through these. I'm really probably going to max out my Orb of Protection here, just because I think it's going to be better. I might be doing Light's Embrace. I'm not 100% sure yet. I'm probably going to test a few different things out, and I might switch some things around. I'm not too sure, but this is what I'm currently running. I still have, almost level 19 with the staff, so you get 2 more points. Kind of play around and see what you can get out of this thing, and see if you can get more heals to people. I might respec again and update it as we go, but this is kind of what I've been building right now. Okay, so as for the Warhammer, my Warhammer is only level 9 right now. I just started using it, but I could tell how this performs by the abilities that we're using, right? So for me as a healer, Crowd Crusher is the way to go, I believe. I've tested out some of the Juggernaut things. I've kind of blended the 2 of Juggernaut and Crowd Crusher together, but I just feel like if I go with strictly Crowd Crusher, I feel like I have more control over the mob, and I can put out more damage. Not only that, I can give myself time to heal. So the first thing I did was take out Outnumbered. Increases damage absorption by 10 if surrounded by 2 or more enemies within 3 meters. That's very nice. This is very, when you're soloing or you're in duos, you're going to be having 2 or more enemies all the time, so you want to be able to take more damage. Number 2, I took Clear Out. This is key if you're playing solo and you're in an elite area and you have mobs of enemies coming at you. It's just great gameplay of this, of why we're using this. You're cording up the mob. They're all coming to you. You throw Sacred Ground down on the ground. You stand in it. You try to take the mob out. But what happens is that you start to get overwhelmed. You start to get stunned. You can't really move. You can't heal or anything. You use Clear Out. It swings the hammer. Knocks all the enemies back. Gives you a minute to switch to your weapon. Do a Light's Embrace. Or throw down Sacred Ground and go back at it and draw aggro again. This is the key, being solo, running the hammer, to give yourself a minute to breathe if you're hoarding mobs in like elite area to level weapons, or you're getting overwhelmed in a dungeon. It's a great option to have solo. Next, Shockwave. Of course, this is something that's great. You slam your hammer on the ground, causing earthquake, deals 80% of weapon damage, stuns all on impact. I think this is probably the coolest feature in the game. Honestly, when you hit this, it's a shockwave. It really does a good job at just stunning everyone around you, and you have like this little lightning strike on the ground that is, just emits from you, and it really just stuns all the enemies. With that, you want to make sure you have Fatality. The trauma of the attack causes weakness, decreasing the damage dealt by targets for 10 seconds. Along with this, you're getting pretty much a 20% damage reduction, pairing those two together. Then you have the next one that expands the shockwave from 4 meters, so the little circle around you just gets a little bit bigger and can stun a bigger area of enemies. It's good to pair with inside a Sacred Ground, because as you throw the Sacred Ground down, everybody starts to mob you. You can jump up, slam down, do the shockwave, and it stuns everybody around you, and it gives you a minute or a quick second to breathe, to kind of figure out, okay, what do I need to do? Do I need to hit Clear Out, or do I need to heal myself with Light's Embrace? What does that look like? So the stun is very helpful. Next, probably the coolest sounding feature, I guess, on the game is this called Path of Destiny. You do this 180 spin, you slap your hammer on the ground, throws a streak of lightning down, and it just sounds, the sound of thunder is great. Very good at stunning enemies, giving yourself a second. This pairs very, very well with Clear Out. As you smack them away, you kind of throw down a Path of Destiny in order for it to keep the enemy stunned. Works great almost all the time. I really think this is going to be my solo build. That's why I'm trying to scale this thing to get it to level 20 here, so I can kind of build out more on the specs as we kind of go. But that's kind of what I'm probably going to go with. I'll probably pick up maybe some of these different I guess perks on the side as I kind of go through them to see what's going to fit best with this build, and we'll kind of give a update probably a little bit later. But really, I'm going to be trying to scale pretty much DPS, so I'd be using something like Hammer Time. Gain and power on heavy attacks, increasing attack damage by 20% for 4 seconds. I use heavy attacks all the time with the hammer just because it's so powerful and it stuns so much that this is a great add-on. So really, this is just kind of like the base build. You can kind of scale how you want, but really I'm going for putting out damage with my hammer and then being able to make sure I can clear the mobs as time kind of goes on. I'll kind of show you where the perks are for these type of things. Well, if you like today's video, guys, please make sure you like, comment, subscribe to the channel. I'll be doing more New World content like this more often now that I'm really enjoying the game and trying to get to the end game. I'm going to have more build guides coming out as I expand on different builds, different weapons, and kind of just play this game over the next probably year. Honestly, this game to me is something I've been looking for. It's very well fit, so I'll probably give it a whole review on the game coming up in the next few weeks. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Talk to you guys later. Thanks.